was her in, yeah.
Yeah, so she was on the grass there and thought she'd try and get the power on, put the power on. The rear tyre said, no thank you, I don't want that yet.
Definitely a snap out was, so, yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, that's why Abby Marshall dropped down the order in the early laps. But no, kept it rubber side down, and that is always good, and she brought it home with a second in class.
Okay, well done, Abby.
Here we go. Red lights are on, out they go, and Kev Woolley again, fresh air underneath the front wheels. He clicks it up a gear as Mark Haig swoops across to take the race lead. So Mark Haig, number 110, and momentarily led the race, but Kev Woolley holds on to it around the outside. You can see that Hayden Smith is trying to squeeze his way up into third place, side by side as they go down towards you, Keith. And we've got a yellow flag here actually at Old Hall Corner. Ryder is up and okay on his feet, just walking away, but yellow flag on the approaching towards Old Hall, green flag on the way out.
Well, I can see Mr. Woolley leading the way, as he's very prone to do so. It's hard to realise from this distance how far Denton's is from Old Hall actually, and how far we are. We obviously see them as they come across the crest there. We've got no sighting of Old Hall whatsoever here, have we? So we miss quite a lot of the action there on the first corner. Yet Mark Haig was in second place as they disappeared along the lakeside straight there. So Woolley, though, looking as though he's decided he doesn't want to play with the others. He wants a bit of an escape plan. We'll wait and see how that works out for him. At least this time there's no argument over tyre choice. It's completely dry here. The sun is occasionally coming out. It's doing it again as the clouds open up just a little bit.
It is windy up this end of the circuit.
Like I say, that's the thing. I'm still seeing the bulrushes shuffling about. Right, there goes Woolley past me. That'll be Haig up next. That's David Ball. That's going to be Hayden Smith there. I can see Richie Welsh, the Excuse Factory, back there in sixth place. Again, hoping to be top tunnel runner. He's still playing with Dougie's bike there. You know he's determined. You know he wants to be on the podium. The man who's been a multiple 400 champion, and he's probably not performing to his absolute maximum ability, so he'll be gritting his teeth trying to find those extra few tenths of a second to get on into some serious contention. But Kev Woolley, he looks like he's on another championship charge at this stage, doesn't it, mate?
Certainly does, and that's Mark Haig going a little bit wide around Lodge. That would have cost him some time, because Kev Woolley is across the line in towards Old Hall Corner now with a 3.2 second lead at the end of lap number 1. The wind is starting to pick up down here on the start-finish straight, so that'll be something for these guys to keep an eye out for. But across the line, 3.2 seconds is the advantage for Kev Woolley on bike number 51. Wow. Ahead of Mark Haig, Hayden Smith, David Ball. Richard Hayward makes up 4 positions on that lap. He's up into 5th place.
Sorry, mate, somebody pulling off to the right-hand side of the track here before they tip into Cascades. I can't quite see the bike from this distance, but you are definitely going to have somebody who's going to be retiring. I think I know who that is. I'm pretty sure I know who that is, but I'm not going to confirm because I can't see the number from here.
Rider who went down on lap 1 at Old Hall Corner is number 50, Chris Whitlock, but he was up and okay, absolutely fine. He's taken himself behind the barrier, but Chris Whitlock unfortunately race over at turn 1.
Well, that rider is making his way all the way back up towards the Foggy Moss Centre there, so he's probably not going to stop at the canteen for a quick snack. As Woolley outbrakes himself. That's a remark. Oh, hang on, is he outbraking himself or broken? Hang on, that's very slow. Kev's looking down. Hang on a minute. We might have a little bit of a dramatic moment there. No, is he going? What's he doing? It looks like he's rejoining, but he's lost 1, 2, 3, 4 places. He went straight on, but that's very strange. I'm not quite sure whether he just wants a bit of a challenge or something like that. But Kev, what was his gap over the line? 4 seconds or something?
3.2.
3.2, okay, so 3.2 second lead. He came into the escape road here, went very slowly through the chicane. I thought for one moment he was going to stop, but basically got to the end, looked behind him, and then gunner gassed it. So I think he's probably going to come across the line in about 5th place at the moment.
I'll try and keep an eye on him. I can see the sector times coming through for all but one rider there, Keith, down there at Cascades, as he said. Unfortunately, it looks like the 86 of Richie Welsh. I imagine that's who you had your suspicions of.
That's exactly. It did look like Richie from this distance, and obviously it's quite a distinctive bike, but I just wanted to make sure before I go and shout that, because I do know his friends and family listen at home in downtown Hull there.
I think that word distinctive sums up Richie Welsh perfectly anyway,
yeah.
There's only one Richie Welsh.
The haircut himself, yeah. Right, Woolley seems to not be lacking in anything at all, because he's now moved up a place as he comes down into Cascades, and he's now playing the slipstream game. That 2T engineering machine is beautiful. Go on.
Not sure what happened to him down your end, but he went purple in sector number 2.
Okay. Yeah, pass, because sector number 1 he would have been very slow and probably lost about
6 seconds.
Yeah, they say 5 or 6 seconds. So, yeah, very strange. Well, he certainly seems to have got his mojo back. Maybe he just wants to remember what it's like to overtake somebody or something. I really don't know. I'm not quite sure what was behind that. Maybe we'll catch up with Kevin and have a word a bit later if we're lucky. But we'll now wait for them to crest the hill, because the battle for second place is a good little 4-way scrap, actually. And down the hill they come. Let's see how far up the order Mr. Woolley has got himself. Oh, what a surprise, he's out in front. Wow. It's Mark Haig with Hayden Smith behind him. Then it's David Bull. And then Richard Hayward's hanging on very nicely there on the 27 machine.
He is, yeah. He was across the line 4th. I imagine he's 5th now, but it was only 1.5 seconds covering those top 3 riders. Top 5, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a good effort from Richard. Of course, he's also racing in the CB 500 as well, so he likes his lightweight older bikes. Tom Ridley's putting in a good ride too there, but just a little way off in 6th place. A few other good scraps down through the field as well. So yeah, I'm not sure what Kev was doing there. Maybe he just decided he wanted to overtake everybody. I had no idea.
Move there. I think that was Hayden Smith at the inside of Mark Haig at Lodge, and it was, and that's cost the momentum of Mark Haig, because David Ball and Richard Hayward are they close enough? Not quite, as Richard Hayward goes almost to the inside of David Ball. So Kev Woolley out in front again at the end of lap number 3. It's 1.6 seconds between him and Hayden Smith. Mark Haig in 3rd place ahead of David Ball and Richard Hayward, but there is 2.2 seconds covering the top 5, but only 0.6 of a second covering the top, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yeah, looks like Hayden is starting to establish himself in that 2nd place now. He desperately tucks in, but he doesn't have an answer for Kev Woolley. Maybe it was tricky conditions this morning. Of course, we do forget that the lap this morning was a little bit wet, a little bit dry. So, what was the fastest lap from this morning? Have you got the updated sheet there, mate?
Fastest lap from this morning was a 2-minute 1.5.
And we're doing what at the moment?
1 minute 55.6.
Yes, there's the difference. I think it's a tyre thing.
Yesterday's first race, we're into the 54s for Kev Woolley.
Okay, well, we'll wait and see if he can crack that. I mean, obviously the lap record is slightly redundant, because if I remember rightly, it belongs to Kev Woolley with a 53.5. So Kev definitely likes his place, definitely gets around here very well indeed. David Ball giving Mark Haig a hard time. He's going to have to get past him. He wants to challenge Hayden Smith for that 2nd. Hayden looking very good aboard Paul Whitby's machine there. Watching everybody else. There goes Squelchy in the mix. Good to see Paul Welsh back. I wonder if his old friend Dan Wright's ever going to make a comeback as well.
Looking at the rear of the field, it's the fight between Adam Collins and Phil Zanuto. I mean, they're quite some way off the rest of the pack, but they're still having a good fight. 0.3 of a second between Adam Collins and Phil Zanuto, number 77 and 36. They're heading down Cascades now as Kev Woolley comes across the line to complete lap number 4. Hayden Smith, Mark Haig, David Ball and Richard Hayward. So the top 5 staying as it was. Tom Ridley is in a relatively lonely 6th place on bike number 166, and then it is Paul Neild, first of the Clubmans, ahead of Ian Davies, who is 2nd of the Clubmans, so that could well be one to watch as well, Keith. There's Tom Ridley just heading down the avenue in towards Denton's by himself now, and then you've got that fight between Paul Neild and Ian Davies heading towards you. That is for the lead in the Clubmans.
Okay, keep an eye on that one. Also got a good little battle here between Martin Pearson and Mark Stubberfield as well, arguing over some of the minor placing. Of course, the other person who's out there as well, is you've mentioned, is Pete Nichols, and he is riding the 100 machine, which is the YPM rent-a-racer. Basically, you can, if you have a look in your souvenir programs, you can or go onto the YPM Yamaha Past Masters Facebook page if you're interested in giving racing a go at some point. You need to show up with your ACU licence. Details available from the office as well.
Rider in the pits.
Go on, mate.
Rider in the pits. That's Michael Frost there. Sorry, Keith.
Okay, no problem. Michael Frost is having a bad time this weekend, isn't he?
Not going well, is it?
Can't catch a break this weekend.
Just had a message come through from Richie Welsh as well. It slowed down the front straight, revved again, then slowed around Old Hall, so decided to pull off and retire from the race.
Okay, the Richie Welsh excuse machine working overtime, but I've got the same message sent to me. That's fair enough. But that's good to know, as long as you're safe, basically. Yeah, the rent-a-racer, available for anybody who'd like to have a go, really. I think it's around about 550 quid. That includes your entry fee, your fuel, your tyres, absolutely everything. And you can basically be a works rider for the weekend. I'm not sure how the bookings are. It normally books out quite early in the year. But you never know, there might be an opening somewhere.
So I mentioned a couple of laps ago, Phil Zanuto and Adam Collins were having a good fight, but it doesn't look like Adam Collins has come around to complete his 4th lap as Phil Zanuto went across the line. But Kev Woolley leads by 2.8 seconds, fastest lap of the race on that 5th lap, just completed, 1 minute 55.601. And Hayden Smith has a 2-second advantage over Mark Haig, but Mark Haig, David Ball and Richard Hayward separated by half a second as they go through Cascades and on the run towards Island Bend on this 6th lap. Personal best for everybody inside the top 5. Tom Ridley, a 2-minute 0. Paul Neal, 2-minute 0, as he leads Ian Davies for the Clubman race by 0.3 of a second.
I think Mr. Woolley's biggest problem might be some back markers at some point.
There was not sure what happened to Paul Welsh on this lap, but his personal best lap of the race is a 2-minute 0. That previous lap was a 2-minute 34. So yeah, he's dropped down to 13th overall, 10th in class.
Squelchy took the scenic route somewhere then to achieve that. Well done, Squelchy.
Well, the Cheshire countryside isn't something to be missed.
Yeah, okay. I don't think he wants to get that close to it though. Anyway, Hayden Smith comes past me. Oh, Mark Haig a little bit wide there and loses a little bit of ground. I think is that David Ball behind? I'm not sure actually. Is David Ball still behind Mark Haig?
He was across the line by 0.3.
So. Yeah, well, he's going to be a little bit closer there. Right, a few people into the back markers now. There's watch a couple of people working their way around other people. Obviously, it'd be interesting to see just how many people Mr. Woolley manages to lap. The pace he's going is absolutely phenomenal. It really is. Just shows you what you can do with these little old machines. Bear in mind, these are bikes. They'll be celebrating their 40th anniversary since their release this year. The first ever production 250 to do a 100-mile-an-hour lap at the TT in the hands of the well-known journalist Matt Oxley. And again, that was about 86, 87.
That's about 86, isn't it?
Yeah, that was, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this Squelchy is all on his own. It looks like he's kept it upright though. Don't see any gravel on him or the bike, so that's all good. So, not quite sure what happened to him, but he's still running strongly.
Ian Davies is
we've got another yellow flag. Sorry, mate. Can't quite see what it is, but we've got. There it is. It's the other side of the barrier. Somebody at Cascades, unfortunately. It looks like they're doing the whole pick the bike up from the side there. Yeah, they've got a little bit wide there at Cascades. Not quite sure who that is. I can't quite make it out. A little bit too far for me, unfortunately. But I actually might have an idea who that is. But again, I don't want to go calling the ball until we get confirmation. I'll just check through the old binoculars to see if I can see. Yeah, I'm afraid I can confirm this because I can see the number through the binoculars. And it starts with a 5, finishes with a 1, and has a 2 in the middle.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear. But I can assure everybody listening that the rider is up. Okay, I think the old airbag's done its trick very nicely indeed. Either that or Hayden's put on a hell of a lot of weight since I last saw him. So I'm afraid Mr. Whitney's bike has claimed another victim, basically. The demon bike strikes again, Paul. No, I think Hayden looks okay, so hopefully he's well. That's obviously good news for those who are pursuing him, like, Mr. Ball. There we go.
Kev Woolley's on a lap there. He's gone purple in sector number 1.
Okay.
Coming across line to complete lap 7, 2 more to go, and fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 54.549. So we're a 10th of a second away from where he was yesterday. And coming across the line now, it's side-by-side action between David Ball and Mark Haig. Haig has the advantage, but Ball has the inside line, and that is... Mark Haig tried to roll it around the outside, but there was a number 8 YPM machine in the way, and Richard Hayward is going to pick up some pieces. There is he. I think Mark Haig may just close the door firmly in the face of Richard Hayward.
Well, that's all good news. That's Squelchy coming past me again. Bike looking very shiny, but hasn't been used very much in the last couple of years, so good to see Paul back out. Does join us occasionally. Unfortunately, his work takes him overseas, so it means he can't do a full season anymore, unfortunately. Used to work offshore actually, back 15 years ago. There goes the rent-a-racer of Paul Nicholls, chasing hard after the 333 machine of Mark Stubberfield. As I say, if you want to have a go, just get in touch with the YPM guys. It doesn't cost a lot of money for a weekend's racing in relative terms to have a go on one of these things and just discover how much fun these little old two-strokes are, and then reminisce about why don't they make them anymore. Oh, there goes Kev Woolley past me. It was the 82 machine he's just gone past there. Where's the 82 machine running, mate?
82... don't have an 82. There's a 62.
Oh, maybe it's a 62.
There's the number 62.
David Patterson.
Yep, David Patterson leading the junior clubmans at the moment.
I think he's the only junior clubman, to be fair.
Out of all, one of them that are out there now.
Yeah. What position is David in?
He is 18th overall.
So that's Woolley lapping everybody up to 18th overall so far. And is it one more lap or two more laps this time?
Last lap flag is now being readied.
Yeah, that'll be for him then, because he'll be with you very shortly indeed.
Right now, under the bridge and across the line to take the last lap flag. And it's a 55.1 on that previous lap. So let's have a look. Waiting for second position. It's that battle between Mark Haig, David Ball and Richard Hayward. And it's David Ball who's out in front of that particular fight with a little bit of an advantage of 1 second. So 1 second between David Ball and Mark Haig. Haig has Richard Hayward less than a tenth of a second behind him. So it's a four-wheeler as they go down the avenue in towards Denton's, then cascades for what will be the final time at full racing speed. I'm trying to keep an eye on this battle for the clubmans as well, because Ian Davies did find a way through on Paul Neal a couple of laps ago and has pulled out an advantage. So Tom Ridley is across the line. There goes Ian Davies, and Damien Lee in fact has just put down Paul Neal by a position. So there is Damien Lee in between clubman's riders 1 and 2.
Okay. Watching them come down towards me. Nothing too exciting happening here. It looks like Paul Nicholls on the rent-a-racer has found his way past on Mark Stubberfield, so it's a point for him. Obviously, I'll only be doing the one race. Oh, there's Kev Marshall. Kev's still got the old leathers on. Come on, Kev. It's nice and dry out there, mate. You should have the nice, new, shiny leathers on. He's still got the old bell staffs that he picked up about 20 years ago after his old ones got cut off him in Croix, apparently, in France, when we used to go overseas and become overseas racers back when that was a feasible thing. Unfortunately, it's no longer a feasible thing, but definitely an interesting trip overseas for a few days for the paddock to camp over to there, to the circuit in northern France. Not the most exciting of circuits, it has to be said, but you could claim international racer on your passport, and in fact with any luck we will be able to claim an international racer next year, because we will be hopefully at least visiting the northern part of another country next year, which with any luck, I can't say any more than that, but fingers crossed, we'll be heading up north at some point. Right, watching them come past the line, and you found Mr. Woolley yet, mate?
Yeah, just come across the line now with a 14.7 second advantage. David Ball, Richard Hayward, but no sign of Mark Haig. In fact, he's coming to the line now. So Mark Haig, there he goes across the line. He lost 12 seconds in that final sector, so it could well be outbreaking himself.
I'm going to say a failed move on Mr.
Yeah, it could well be.
Perhaps. You never know your luck, do you, really?
Well, that was the... Kev Woolley, in fact, went purple on that final lap. So did you say the lap record was a 53.5?
53.5,
He did a 53.8. So 3 tenths away from that lap record.
It's his own lap record, so...
That is true.
He doesn't need to beat that one up, does he, really? All good.
So Ian Davies does cross the line to win the clubman's. He was 4.5 seconds up the road at the end of that one, ahead of Paul Neal and Damien Lee. But